The second season of Star Wars Rebels has wrapped up, and in my opinion, set the bar pretty high for both itself and the rest of the Star Wars universe moving forward. Now, there will be a few not so minor spoilers here for those who haven't watched yet, so just be warned of that from here on out. What to say and where to begin though? Watching this finale, I was heavily on the edge of my seat throughout the whole thing, and throughout the last 12 minutes or so, experiencing full mind blow with what was going on. It was really great. Maybe I'm getting overly excited, but in my opinion, this episode is absolutely among the best things that the Star Wars universe has ever given us. And if you've wondered whether or not watching or catching up on Rebels is worth your time, rest assured, the season 2 finale has made everything worth it. One of the best things that Rebels has done, and even the Clone Wars series as well, is given a more in-depth look at the mysticism surrounding the Force. The Force is such a critical part of the films, but is only very lightly touched on there. Now, in season 2 of Rebels, we've been treated to visits to both an ancient Jedi and Sith temple. It also seems heavily implied that for both the Jedi and Sith temples, they haven't been used in a long time, yet are still preserved and seem to serve their intended functions for members of their respective Force alignments, which leaves open the possibility of such things being eventually brought into the movies. But even if these end up as places we only get to visit in the TV series, it still contributes to the depth of the entire story, and in my opinion, they're doing a fantastic job with that. It also seems very much like the events to have taken place on Malachor long ago could be on the verge of officially becoming canon once again. Regardless, at this point we know that something major happened there once, resulting in a lot of dead Jedi. We also know that the design of Kylo Ren's crossguard lightsaber was directly inspired by that old style, like the crossguard saber that Ezra picked up on Malachor. What's really intriguing to me at this point is the idea that it was Yoda that instructed Ezra to go to Malachor to find the answers he sought after. We can kind of safely assume that somehow Yoda knew that Darth Maul was who could provide Ezra the assistance he was seeking in order to be able to destroy Vader. Obviously, given that we know Vader's fate, we're left to only wonder just what impact Darth Maul will eventually have on Ezra moving forward from here. Given that Maul is already claiming Ezra as his apprentice, along with the foreshadowing of Ezra's eyes at the very end, it's really looking like the Jedi Temple Guard who warned Kanan about Ezra's dark future was really onto something there. That also to me is part of what made this finale so great, and that it did a fantastic job of wrapping up a lot of previous foreshadowing. I also thought they crushed it with the reintroduction of Darth Maul and the mystery surrounding his actual motives throughout the episode, and really just everything Maul did in this episode. It was all great. Of all the build up to this finale though, whether it be build up within just earlier parts of this episode or build up from a few episodes back, nothing could top the build-up from an entire TV series ago with the long-awaited confrontation between Ahsoka and Darth Vader. This one really tugged on the heartstrings, given that Clone Wars Anakin was actually likable. Given that, and knowing just how much he and Ahsoka had been through together before this all, it was definitely going to be emotional. Knowing that Vader wasn't going to lose, the real question was whether or not Ahsoka would survive. And honestly, tough as it is to lose a character like that, I think they did a really good job in handling the loss of Ahsoka Tano. In general, this ending carried a lot of future uncertainty and a dark sense of loss to it. Basically the very kind of cliffhanger that made The Empire Strikes Back so impactful way back when. Only here, we've got a lot more moving pieces. One of our heroes has been badly injured. Another is now fully being tempted by the dark side. We know the Rebels' current base of operations won't be permanent, and now Darth Maul is fully back in the picture. Just to name a few of those cliffhangers. I really did think this finale was nothing short of epic. In the bigger picture of things, Rebels is doing exactly what you would hope for a TV series to do within such an expansive universe like Star Wars, as did the Clone Wars TV series as well. We have so many years that have spanned over the course of the actual films, with a majority of the events within the bookends of those years largely still a mystery. But not only have the Clone Wars and Rebels given us introduce new names and faces to characters that occupy these parts of Star Wars history, it's also gone to great lengths to add more depth to already existing characters from the films. Probably in a more important purpose though, above just providing stories that can fill in for periods of time that were previously unaccounted for, is the lengths that these animated series have gone to in order to patch up a handful of the major missteps made in the prequel trilogy films. And they've done so very effectively too. I don't want to go as far as to say that Rebels and Clone Wars have necessarily vindicated the prequel trilogy, but they've undoubtedly taken what was a very poor foundation and built something very good on top of it. And I think the Lucasfilm story group deserves a ton of credit for assembling an entirely new cast of characters within Star Wars Rebels and managing to weave their story in with characters from both the prequel and original trilogy in ways that have been very entertaining. Anyway, that's all a handful of my thoughts on this finale and somewhat the series in general. I'm really excited to see where they take the story from here and whether or not they eventually weave any of these characters somehow into the actual films. I kind of doubt that would happen, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Anyway, be sure to hit the like button below this video if you've enjoyed it. That always helps me out. And if there's any kinds of videos you'd like to see me do, feel free to let me know in the comments. But above all else, and as always everybody, thanks so much for watching.